time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Waller.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the many blessings that you bestow upon us. We thank you for the seasons that you roll across our calendar and all the enjoyment and the beauty that comes with that. Lord, we just ask that you would especially be with families and individuals across this country that have been affected by this terrible virus, whether it's a financial burden, whether they've lost loved ones. This has been a tremendous strain on our nation, Lord, and we know you're in charge. We know you're the one that can see after our people and heal our land. Lord, we'd ask that you would bring us with a spirit of reconciliation, that you would bring us with a spirit of peace and moving forward to make this country the image that you would like to see and continue to be one nation under God. Lord, we just ask that you be with our county family and those that are hurting. We ask that you'd be with our first responders today that go out of their way to take care of us each and every day, whether it's the military serving abroad or at home, or whether it's our police, our fire departments. Bless those people, send them home safely from each and every shift that they go out on. Lord, thank you for this county. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the people. And we would just ask that you would bless this nation, Lord, today. We ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner. Y'all join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Texas State Police. We've got some presentations that I'm glad to be a part of this morning. I'd like to ask our Wichita County Veteran Service Officer to please step forward.
What have I done?
Don't get hung up, Commissioner.
I did.
You know, we do the Employee of the Month, and this is the first time I ever recall, since we've been doing this, we've ever recognized our veteran service officers. But of the many calls I get telling me about good things and a few not so good things in different offices, you all over the last year have brought more compliments to this office, people you serve, the things you've done. And so at this time, I'd like to present to Tim Murdoch, Wichita County Employee of the Month, October 2020, in appreciation of your outstanding service and support. Tim is the head of the office, and his weekday wife. Okay, right? I don't want to get that wrong. But Tina, well, I got tickled when I talked to Tim about her, and we had interviewed her. I said, you're going to get somebody that could probably hog tie some of those veterans, can weld along with almost the best, because her brother Jimmy Jones is a doggone good welder. And but the matchup, and what's really interesting, both Tim and he brought Tina through are fully certified Texas State Veterans Officers. They have all the credentials, they can use the state's website, and it has brought that office to 99.5% paperless.
Yes, sir. At least,
Yeah, at least that, okay. But I want to say thank you, because you all have made our lives, especially for those of us that work with your office, it's really neat to get the positive calls.
Good.
And one I haven't told you about yet, but boy, my neighbor bragged on you, Kathy Gilbert, said she'd been up and down the flagpole with everybody and never had gotten anywhere, and when she sat there and you took her through it, she thinks that claim's finally gonna go through on her mother. So, that's good. Thank you all very much. Anything y'all would like to say?
Now, sir, we're humbled for the opportunity to serve the veterans of the county, and we could not do it without the full support of the Commissioner's Court. So we appreciate the Commissioners and the Judge for their support, and we appreciate what we're doing with them. Thank you.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
We were involved in the process of interviewing people for that, and I think you and I both looked at one another after each of these two interviewed and said, we need them on our team. And I think we made a good choice, and we're just very happy. We're getting a lot of good feedback. we gotta take care of our veterans, gotta do everything we can do, and I think Wichita County has stepped up and improved their service tremendously because of the work that you guys are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I was just gonna let you know that I also have got some really good feedback. The
We all
vets in
have.
Burke, I go to
Yeah,
the
we all
American Legion
have.
over there, and I'm just telling you, it's a new day, and it's because of you guys.
We
Thanks.
appreciate it, we're trying, so,
I mean, you're making a difference.
thank you, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Something not on the presentation, y'all go ahead, go. Thank you for that. Commissioner Beecham has a person he wants to recognize for their especially long service in Wichita County.
Linda, Mom, come up here, please.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, we're gonna be saying goodbye to Linda at the end of this week. She's had.
We vote on that?
I don't know right now. I hate to lose Linda. She's our housekeeping supervisor. And I'm gonna tell you, throughout this COVID epidemic, she's been the first one in when we have an office to clean up. I mean, she's done an amazing, outstanding job, and we couldn't have kept the doors open to this building without her work and the work of the rest of the crew. We're gonna miss you very much. And so I wished I had a plaque to give you. I don't, but I just wanted to say thank you personally. And thank you for all the hard work, for all the years that you put into Wichita County. It's people like you that make us all run, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
It may be 3 years later.
15 and 7 months. 15
Wow.
years and 7 months.
You're gonna be hard to replace.
Oh, thank you.
I guess she's got one she's been training,
Yeah,
but
Yes,
she is the person that everybody goes to.
everybody goes to, and like I said, throughout this pandemic, y'all have stepped up in an amazing way. Y'all continually wiping down every surface in this building, making sure everything is clean and spotless, and when somebody is tested positive or been quarantined, y'all are there to clean up and first ones in, and I appreciate you.
thank you so
Where are you
much.
going?
My courthouse family.
But
I'll miss you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's right.
All right. We're reporting agenda. I ask if there's any public comment, anyone on the phone or in the audience. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Judge McKnight, I see you here. Are you here to speak on the PACER item by chance?
Correct.
All right, sir, go ahead.
So PACER is just a federal system that manages their records, gives you public access to anything going on within the federal courts. I usually practice, one, because I practice in federal courts, but since I've come on the bench, I still use my own personal account to look up things going on with federal defendants that also had state charges pending. So it was one of those that we're starting to use it more and more because we're just seeing more federal cases where we have state defendants with federal charges also. The problem we run into with the federal system is if the federal judge sentences them, we have 24 to 48 hours to do something on their state sentence before the feds ship them off to anywhere in the country. And we can't get them back. Trying to get somebody out of federal custody back to the state, or even through Zoom, is virtually impossible because they take the approach of, tough, we don't care. So this system is designed or intended to hopefully allow our court administrator's office their own access to where they can look up what's going on, where lawyers say they're set for sentencing later. Well, we can look up when, we can sit down and schedule our state cases as quickly as possible to where we're not losing those guys and those cases sit for an extended period of time waiting on them to get done with their federal sentence. So, like I said, I've been using my own personal account up to this point. The good thing about the federal system is anything below $30 and a quarter, they waive everything. So I've never gone over the $30 on my personal account for the county. But just in case, I've asked to amend the court administrator's office budget by $300 for the year to account for any fees that are incurred. I don't expect them to go over $30 and a quarter, and if they do, it probably won't be by much. But that'll allow them to look up those things if they need to, where they can coordinate with the state cases and hopefully get state cases resolved before the Fed shut them off.
So basically, it's probably gonna cost us $120 a year instead of $300.
It may not
Budgeting.
cost anything, because anything $30, below $30, the Fed waives the fee.
Okay.
They do not have a waiver for government entities. In fact, their website specifically says, we do not waive fees for governmental entities. So, I figured instead of continuing to use my own personal password, we just need to get them one.
Yep.
So if it's approved, then I will get them one set up to where they have their own password, their own username, but it just runs through Danielle, and she will control that. And of course, now our coordinators that are taking on some of that as well would just either coordinate with Danielle or all use the same password. Any questions?
No, sir. Anyone else? Thank you for coming, Dan.
On item 18, I don't know if I need to pull it down or just speak to it now. I would like to add a caveat to that only be able to stack boxes of paper 2 boxes high when we assign that room to them for record storage. I don't want to overweight the floor.
Don't we, isn't there, or wasn't there shelves in there, Mark?
That's where jail compliance was, some of those
Yeah.
offices, and it's really not useful for any other purpose because it's not accessible. It's not ADA accessible, nor really could it be made ADA accessible very easily, so.
Are you talking about where the compliance officers were officing?
Yeah, it used to be the old grand jury room years ago.
Into the hall, up the steps.
Yeah,
No.
at the very end of the hall.
Yeah, I know where the old grand jury room is,
Yeah.
but what were you talking about where the compliance officers were officing there?
That's where-
That's it, yeah.
Oh, when you come up off the elevator, they were right there before you turn down the hall to go to the grand jury room.
Well,
were
they
right there.
moved, no, they moved
Well, they were
over
in,
that
those
whole
were the
day.
old juvenile cells, I think, that they were
Yeah,
in at one
that's,
time.
that was transport.
Yeah, yeah, the transport kind of worked in there, Lee,
Okay.
and started taking that. But Mark, also right there, in between the grand jury and the restroom / shower old facility where they held
Yeah.
grand jury over, there is JP records in between there that's
Yeah, it's
loaded to the hill.
Loaded to the hill. That's what I want to try to avoid. I don't want to put, I don't mind giving them that room because it's worthless for basically anything else, but I don't want to overload it with records. I've talked to HPA, we could have an engineer, or pay for an engineer to tell us how much, but it's easier just to go, it's 2 boxes high and move on.
Or the,
That's less than what we have at Lindeman. Even with what we have at Lindeman, we're still getting overstacked over there.
well, Judge, is that the management protocol for those records that are in that? I guess that's a glorified storage closet, is it not? Or what was that room? It's fairly good size, but it's stacked to the ceiling.
Well, it was probably, no, and it's not, but we need to be, and what we run through is, everybody wants to hang on while they're in office, and then on their way out the door, they can care less. And there is a records retention, especially for JP records. Now, when you get into some of the records on felonies, then that's got a different retention schedule, and that's what needs to be gone by.
How can we ever fix that or rectify that situation?
Well, you know, some of this time that things are slow, and this might be a good time for the JPs to have part of their staff review those and purge out what's past the retention period. And we have to pay for big system, and, you know, when there was some moving and shuffling before Judge Sons left, we got a great deal cleared out downstairs. But those haven't been touched, they're out of sight and out of mind.
I bet those things are from the 80s.
Oh, I bet so.
Maybe
there's
more
no telling.
than that. Judge, is there any way to code that stuff going in to where it simplifies that operation? I
I mean, you
mean,
can put a date on the outside of the box and generally those, you know,
Retention date.
civil or criminal, but when, you know, generally speaking, 3
But-
years from that time.
But they don't take them to our records facility because they want to retain control, is that why?
No, they were there, out of sight, out of mind.
yeah.
But now we're starting to, you know, we're having try to do more records management in that records facility, that looked like it would never be filled up, and wrong,
Wrong.
It's pretty
It's
full.
full.
you know?
But, yeah, if we can just add that caveat, no more than 2 boxes high in there.
Okay.
and I don't see an issue with assigning it to them, but
Well, item 16 and 17, I just want to know what that is.
16 and 17.
That's the power supplies that we talked about last week, that the back up those additional new servers in both the LAC and in the
Courthouse.
courthouse.
But that's a backup server or a backup supply,
Yeah.
power supply? Be nice if they put that on there.
Well, it says
Smart UPS.
Well, what does that mean to me?
Okay.
Zero. I mean, what in the world is that?
Why is one gonna be paid out of LEC funds and the other one out of
Because they're going in the LAC and the others are going in the courthouse.
okay, that would answer it.
That's all I had on the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion? then?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the consent agenda with the addition to item 12 that the boxes will be stacked no higher than 2 boxes high.
I mean,
Item 18, Judge.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at that. It says 16. Y'all will listen, I'm over here.
You said 12.
Okay, item 18, thank you. Any comments, anyone in the audience? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 1 is review and approve bills for payment.
Judge, I make the motion to pay bills with the exception of the one that we pulled on Friday. We're still looking through that bills for an engine and health matter. I've asked for some additional clarification on it before we approve it.
Second.
Curtis has a question.
Yes, sir.
Is the PAF number on that, Commissioner?
The check number or
No,
the,
should be in the top left-hand corner, it's a 6-digit number.
top left 6-digit number? Yeah, I'll just let you find it. I don't see a
Okay,
PAF number.
I'll look at it
Okay,
afterward.
all right, yeah, but it's pulled, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments, questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, then on the motion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 2 is discuss and take action to approve proposal for Danco Turf and Seeding Incorporated to furnish the material and perform the labor necessary for the completion of the northeast of Pumpkin Center for ditch seeding and stabilizing in the amount of $5,440 for precinct 4 to be paid from Fund 224 with specific lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Watson.
Yes, this was, we had not really contemplated exactly what we were going to do. We talked to the farmer there that is beside us. He was going to think through that. Commissioner Harvey had mentioned that Lanco might be the one to investigate, and so we had Lance come out and take a look at that, and he gave us 2 different proposals. We're going with the cheaper of the 2. The second proposal was just over $11,000, $11,800, and it utilized the material that laid down and had the seed in it. And it was just, yeah, it was just, I know it's good, but it's very expensive. And so this is what his recommendation would be, that would be adequate and that would help us hold the work that we put in the ground. It's about 160,000 square foot, and it would help us hold up throughout this winter time with some rye and some different
I think there's 7 different plants. in the-
Grasses, yes.
Yeah, it's a hydromulch
Yes.
process, and they just spray it on.
The same thing we used at gun range.
Yeah, same thing we
Stuff
used
takes
to-
hold and
Yes.
goes good, so.
And the paper that it's in catches the moisture and helps the seeds germinate.
Okay.
Hydromulch.
It's a blend that, all-season blend, if you will, I guess.
You remember when we went to that riparian school?
Yeah,
That's what you're getting.
okay,
He's putting that back so that it'll hold your soil.
okay.
And those seeds that they use have a deep root system, and they're designed to hold soil. That's what it's all for.
Well, we brought those, there is a lot of those ditches that aren't now 2 foot deep, that were probably 8 foot deep. So we've made a lot of progress, cleaned up a lot of riprap on Old Lake Road utilized in, below this. And so I think this would carry us over the goal line if we could get this down and get it to grab hold.
Second motion.
Second?
About $1,400 an acre. About 3.5 acres.
By hand.
Yeah, I know, understand. And I mean, it's the process you need to use, it's just a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of
But, if we don't do it, we lose
All the work you did.
$40,000 worth of work. That, I mean, that's where we are. I wished it was out there already, matter of fact, but.
Any other comments on that? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item number 3 is to receive an update on the law enforcement center, Commissioner Beecham.
Biggest milestone this past week is that we got our internet working, so, that 10 gig throughput is up and operational. We did not have to change fiber that we had originally thought early on last week. They were able to reconfigure radios and everything is up and operational. The good part of that is now we have, that can function as a backup for the courthouse. If we go down here, we can use that as a backbone backwards. So we have double redundancy now.
Created a loop.
Created a loop, exactly. So beyond that, we're continuing punch list. We started walking punch list items and quickly discovered that they weren't where we had wanted them. So after about 3 hours of walking, we called timeout and pointed out exactly the standard that we were looking for and let them start over again. So again, like I said last week, Harper Perkins has really done us a very good job on that aspect of making sure we're getting everything that we intended out of that building. So I'm gonna say they're pretty medieval.
Yeah.
Every detail, and if it's not to the detail that is required, then it's getting fixed.
Good deal. Anything else, any other questions on that?
I'd kind of like to give a shout out to Harper Perkins. Last Friday, Glenda Reasoner gave me a $500 check for the senior citizen centers. That's just another example of businesses here in our county that give back.
Linda Ramsey, Linda Reeser.
I said, yeah, Linda Ramsey with Harper Perkins. So I thought that was great.
Is that for Mr. Burke Center?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have any comments to bring up? Mr. Hampton, have you ever been able to find your other staff member you had a approval for?
Did I find her? Yes, sir. Did.
Oh, okay.
She's working out beautiful.
Well, right. All right. Good.
I did have a question for Bob on are the county clerk and district clerk, or are we kind of proceeding with those receipts coming in? Bob, from their past deposits?
I understand we got a fairly significant deposit today for the first time.
Okay. And is it more, I guess it's complicated for y'all because of LGS being limping along? You have to do a lot more hand coding, I guess, than, or is it work the way it's always worked?
Well, we're gonna try to smooth some things out. We've got a great, staff in both offices, so we're trying to, instead of that, doing that daily deal, we're gonna do monthly to catch up.
That wasn't, this, not LGS, but the April term.
Able term, I
Yeah.
mean, able term.
Will Munis replace that?
Yes.
And how far away are we from, I know Curtis was working with it.
It looks like it's gonna be July 1st now
Who-
for me.
That's what you're hearing, Curtis?
Yes, sir.
Gallagher and I talked briefly about that last week. She said they pushed it back, but they're trying everything they can to bring it up. After she gets settled in after November 1st, then we're gonna meet, kind of see how, talk over a number of different things with her office, and whether she wants to change anything, you know, how we're looking at how the CAFR's done each year, review all those processes. So,
Well, Judge, I thought the process, whatever they sure jumped into high gear and put that together. It seemed like quickly to me.
What they did, they brought Jean Malone back in, gave her that one thing to do, and she worked with Matt Patterson and with oversight, Ms. Jones, and they got it put together. And
Matt Davis.
Matt Davis,
Matt
yeah.
Davis, I'm sorry, yeah. Reached up in your for that, Matt Patterson.
You did.
Okay. It wouldn't be done yet, I don't think, as capable a guy as Matt is, that's not his forte.
He'd be on the golf course.
Yeah. So, all right, Commissioner Beecham, anything to report?
Just want to talk briefly about what we experienced on Friday with the north side of the building. We come in Friday and the building was flooded on 3 or 4 floors, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. And one of those rooms that had water in it was our elections room. We narrowly averted disaster and got some things moved around. We definitely have some structural issues with the plaster on the outside of the building. We'll have a firm coming in to look at it this week. I think it's going to take a total facelift on that north side. What I've asked while we're doing it is, one of the things that we will have to do in the future is remove all the equipment out of, detention equipment out of the old side 4th and 5th floor, which would require opening up that north side wall to do it.
Take it out while it's open.
Take it out while we've got the facade off.
Like, we can't do that. Makes too much sense.
So,
It costs too much. We
It's
gotta spend
going-
more
It will
money.
be costly, but if we don't do it now,
We'll never do it.
we'll never do it. So
That makes too much sense, Mark.
I've asked for an estimate to do both the facade work and the demolition, because we can open up the wall where the doors are now and pull that equipment out and patch that back at the same time we're doing the facade.
Okay, will that then completely shut down the downtown jail?
It will shut down the old side, 4th and 5th floor. It's the old sides on that north wall.
Yeah, okay. that's-
Yeah.
But aren't those, that ceiling height in there is only 7 foot, so.
And on the 5th floor, I think so, and maybe 4th floor too. I think it's the 5th floor that's so short.
Well, the question was whether, if you suck that out of there, you gained anything or not.
to gain weight relief on the building.
Well, that's true. too.
Yeah.
And a wide open space that you could store stuff,
We
whatever.
also gain a whole lot of weight relief in our fund balance.
That we do, I know, but if, I get that, but
That paper don't weigh that.
I don't know
much.
what it'll cost at this point, but if we don't do it now, if we fix that facade, we'll box ourselves in where we can never
Right, I
really do
understand
it.
that, but I'm just thinking, are we doing something that is not gonna yield us that space like it would if it was on the new side of one?
Right.
So, okay.
And Mark, I guess every bit of that'll be salvage, won't it? I mean.
Yeah,
all that
it's
stuff.
solid steel.
Yeah.
It's a battle, we're sucking a battleship out.
What's that charity group that puts everybody in jail and you gotta get your buddies to bail you out?
Oh,
You can donate them to them. They could just lock people up all over town.
So I just wanted y'all to be aware that,
How do you get a lift in there with that, what, mechanical?
They're called Hillman rollers, and you take a hydraulic jack, then you actually pick the cell up, and the Hillman roller is about this thick, and can carry 300,000 pounds, and you put one on every corner, you roll it to the edge of the building, and you grab it with the crane.
So
and
we
slide out and
set crane
grab it
down
again.
on the street and reach over there all the way across the
No.
top of that mechanical stuff?
You have to roll it to the hole,
Right?
and then it'll take it out the hole.
But I mean, you'd grab it, the crane would be all the way on Sixth Street, and it would reach up to the door when you pulled it out and grab a hold of the material and bring it over on Sixth Street and set it.
Possibly could be set up on the courthouse yard over there.
Because I just, you know,
The
all
further the
those,
reach, the bigger the crane, the more it costs. So you
Yeah.
want it up as close as you can get it.
well, but think about all that stuff in the way right there, you know, all the air conditioning and all that, that's what I was wondering about.
Shut down part of Sixth Street.
Well, we've done that before. The city has worked with us on that. When we set those coolers, we shut down 6, but
And you can get some small skid steers and stuff in there to do some of that stuff with now. That's pretty,
yeah.
they've got equipment that will operate in that space. It's not like it.
Climb those stairs to get there.
Well, that's the fun.
I don't think the Hillman rollers will go down the stairs.
Well, that's what they used out there, put in the prefab concrete, so
Yeah.
that same technique.
Yeah.
Put it down in place.
Skateboards.
Yeah.
well,
They're,
bottom line, if we don't fix the facade, we're gonna continue to rot away the north side of our building. It's
Mark,
60 years old.
when you open that up, you're gonna find so much damage that you weren't
That's what
aware
I'm
of.
afraid of. It's
You know
what
it.
scares me after touching the wall and seeing how it crumbled in my hand last week.
Yep.
But Mark, how much,
That's the interior wall.
Interior wall, yeah, I
but
know.
you're putting a kind of a overall proposal together, I was just, I mean, I wondered about like asbestos, are we gonna run into
Well,
that?
we know there's a hot asbestos tile, we know that there's asbestos caulking sealant around the jail doors. I mean, we already know that, and there's likely other asbestos, so. Everything in this building,
It's beginning to cost as much to tear something down now as it does to build it.
yeah. So, it's not good news, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, just be aware of it.
It might be worth calling the Texas Historical Commission to see. I don't think it will be subject to that, but we could do.
Save the wine racks. Is there a fund for?
Those are actually leftover World War II pigeon training.
Okay.
There was condos for the pigeons.
We just put a back on them, and
Yeah. Yeah.
thanks to the internet, we can start using carrier pigeons.
Right.
That'd save us a lot of money.
That's a lot of bird food.
Yes. Okay, Commissioner Harmon.
I can't think of anything. We already talked about our big success at the Senior Citizen Center at Fish Fry. We already talked about that, and really we haven't done much else. COVID has really kind of got us quarantined. I mean, everybody's kind of self-administering their lives and not getting out as much, not as much going on.
Are there any changes, Judge? Anything new that you're aware of?
Going up, I mean, you know, as people have you know, when people talk about, well, we don't want another shutdown, but they don't wear masks, they don't practice social distancing, they don't practice the sanitation things, I can tell you what the outcome's gonna be. Eventually, it could be closed by the fact you don't have enough workers. That's part of our problem in the cost of materials and things right now. You've got factories, because of the amount of COVID infections they've had, they're operating at about 1/3 of the crew.
Well, let me tell you how that impacts us. Right now, we're building a house.
Yeah.
Our lumber price was $40,000 in the bid. It's $120,000 now, just lumber.
And that's,
Makes it impossible.
You bought a two-by-four lately?
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
about $6 a piece for a
That's
two-by-four.
what I'm talking about, where they were $235 or whatever when we did the bid. Now they're over $6.
so, I'm just
Thank you,
saying,
hurricanes.
we could be our own worst enemy in this.
So Judge, do you have numbers from last week and over the weekend?
No, they won't come in until this afternoon.
4 o'clock.
I was thinking somebody said it might have cooled off a little bit, but I don't know that. But I don't know where I heard that this morning.
I'd like to think this.
Me too, that'd be great.
I didn't listen to Henry this morning.
So. Okay, Commissioner Ron?
Speaking of Henry, since you brought that up, we are finally going to have a Panda Biotech producer meeting on Thursday. We don't have the details put together, but we understand it's going to be at 6 o'clock Thursday at the Chamber Boardroom. And there will be a Zoom component to it also. If you want to, you can come and do it live or you can do it by Zoom. We don't have the details, but David Graff should have that put together later today. We're going to get the word out and try to finally sit down and see if we can't raise some product for the new hemp gin to work with. So finally, maybe we're getting things in a little more logical order where we can move forward. But anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. We'll put it out on Facebook and through the news media. We'd like to get a bunch of our producers, not just Wichita County, but the surrounding counties also, to come in, try to see what the program's going to be. We hadn't even known up until now what it's going to be, and that slowed things down. So,
Well, people need to know how important that is to not only Wichita County, but our surrounding counties.
could be huge.
This could be huge.
It's got so much growth potential if you can just get this thing up and going and get it moving that we've not even, there's things we've not even thought of yet that,
Well, and it allows our producers to raise a crop that's actually profitable.
well, we think.
Well, we hope.
We hope.
Yes, so
I understand too, either the extension agronomist from Lubbock, who is the leader in the Texas hemp program, and he's very good. I've been in a couple meetings with him, and he's either going to be here or be here by Zoom, and he is the guy. I mean,
is that Randy or David?
he's got more. Who's that?
Is it Randy or David out of Lubbock?
No, I think it's Tony. I don't
Oh, I
have his
didn't meet
card in
Tony.
there, but anyway, he is very, very knowledgeable. He's the lead guy in Texas, so he will be there. So pretty important deal, and that's Thursday night. We'll have the details later today and try to start getting the word out so everybody can. And the weather's falling perfect. There's not going to be a whole lot going on by Thursday.
You'd think Dr. Ripley tried to be there at that.
And anyway, that's where we are. So thank goodness finally we're getting that lined out.
Commissioner Watts?
Yes, a question, Mark, time capsule, how's it coming?
Still collecting items for it.
Have they got our
I've got-
stone ready yet?
No, I need to get with Bob and go out there and have the stone cut, so
Did you
But
get
then-
anything from Burke?
I don't have anything from Burke yet.
Okay, I'll call again.
I just wondered, just an update on it. And does anybody have any recommendations? We, after we had the water line break out there in that, I guess it was an addition to that building in Precinct 4 shop, and we have slowly over time put that back together well, but I'm having some carpenter trouble. I just can't get, part of my reason is where I'm situated. I think it's not an easy run out there, to go work on that. But I haven't taken out the old cabinets, but the new cabinets are in. and the countertops are on. I just have some finish work that needs to happen, and we just had a difficult time.
Have you
We
talked to
shut
Bobby
down
Yeo?
during COVID because it just became too big a hassle. It took us, I don't know how long to put them countertops on because there was trouble back in March and April. But I just want to go ahead and move towards the first of the year getting that completed, and a little drywall work. You know, it's not a big area at all. It needs to be finished, and I just had some, and I think it's maybe the size of my job doesn't qualify for somebody to really want to.
Have you talked to Bobby Yeo?
No.
Need to.
Me too. His guys are really talented.
Tony's a good,
Tony is good.
Tony's good with countertops.
Okay.
Well, he's
They
good.
did our,
It's that
they did
drywall
our
too.
addition to our break rooms
He and
over there,
Bill
and
are
I'm
both
telling
good
you,
with drywall.
I'm tickled. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I think that'd be your first stop, I think.
Well, the major components are done. But there was one deal that we were trying to coordinate with, our break room work was Tommy's, and it's actually Kenny getting the window out of the annex to go in for a service window. I don't know if y'all have ever been out there or not, but, you know, when Kenny is there and active, that lobby fills up in a hurry, and we would like to service a lot of those people at the counter, at the window, but we have to take them into Kenny's room. It just poses a problem a lot of ways, and people then stand in the doorway, and
So that's not gonna be a drive-through deal, it's gonna be an
it'll
in-house
be
deal.
in the lobby. You just walk up to the window, kind of like at Iowa Park, you sit down at the
Yeah.
window. You would stand at the window, but still, it'll expedite some of the stuff he has to do, and because, anyway, I just kind of wanted to do both of those things simultaneously when I had work there, you know. So it just, COVID messed us up and really put the whampy on it. And I tell you, we were, even before this, y'all remember, what's the group out of Vernon? Santa Rosa, the young man. We had looked at that and had it all scoped out, and then he decided to leave. And so that set us on a tailspin. We went a whole different direction, but nevertheless, that's just in there.
That window, we can take it at any time. We'll talk. I've got a little work to do in the indigent health office anyway, so it'd be a good time to
Okay,
coordinate all that.
You know what else? We have a resource we don't think about. He's retired, but Chuck Hawthorne has done that stuff his whole life. And he has people, he knows people.
I didn't even know that, Lee. I didn't know that's what he did.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, he just got through 2 years ago remodeling Reno's house,
okay,
or part of it. Anyway, but he's retired.
okay.
Chuck
That's
Hawthorne,
good
I have
to
his
know.
number. If Bobby and them are too covered up or whatever, we'll get with Chuck and see what Chuck can do.
Okay, I've had Mark doing some investigation, and Glenda put us a kind of a brief summary together. Have an Eagle Scout that has had desire and created the money to put in a few items of playground equipment in Burnett Park, and that looks like that's going to be a tremendous chore to comply. But anyway, it was his aspiration to do that, and Mark's checking that, and Glenda put us some stuff together to read, and looking at that. It's not impossible, but it's not easy either. And in the morning, 7 a.m., we start benefits, and then I think she's coming to Barry, then she's coming to you, then she's coming to Mark. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Flu shots tomorrow, isn't that correct, too?
Shots tomorrow.
No?
No.
Oh, it changed?
I'm sorry, I just got an email from someone
Oh.
saying that due to the upcoming weather event, they've been moved to next week.
Okay.
Well, that might be easier anyway for
Still
us since we're.
Tuesday, Wednesday, same scenario,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they-
because that was on my list here, flu shot, then started afterwards, okay. But it's, we're assuming, and the guy has all indications that he's coming to our building, but Luann had indicated that we were virtually doing it, so anyway, I'll be there with my laptop just in case, but surely we'll be notified if it was virtual, go to the computer one at a time, but
Is the auditor's office still doing it?
no, this is actually going to be a Colonial or slash,
Colonial, as an agent of Higginbotham, they do that, they handle all of that, they've got the software set up for it and everything.
they ask you if you still want the same
They've
services.
done it in the past,
Yeah.
didn't they? Yeah, they've been over here across the hall.
Yeah,
Yeah, 290, we did that over there.
yeah. So, and that's all I have, Judge.
Well, thank you. So it's amazing with the COVID where it reaches to, this one kind of caught me, and y'all know my hobby in life to do Santa Claus events. Well, one of the wheels in the health department, federally, had come up with a plan to vaccinate Santas and Mrs. Claus and for elves and everybody, and they had made contact with the real beard Santa's president and all that, and then the guy had the thing all ready to roll, and then he disappeared. They took a month's leave and it's gone, and obviously, the Halloween is going to be interesting, and how people observe that and try to do that safely. I haven't heard what the.
Wear a mask.
But my number of Santa Ricks is down to 2 virtual ones. And, so people are concerned, and there's not much way. Social distancing with Santa probably not near the same deal.
No.
But the other thing we're going to have to think about is, coming along that period of time, is the special election on
The 19th.
19th, but early voting for that, some of our locations that we have normally used are not going to be available. Now, the Saturday election, it might be we need to possibly look at something different. But the schools ought to be available to us because they will close, I think, the Friday before that. So you might,
We're opening my barn. I think Electra, Isle Park, the Burt,
yeah,
we're not the problem child.
I'm talking about election day, though, she'll have a few more sites.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be in Wichita, right?
Well, we would stop it.
Well, we always move it all apart. We go from the tax office to the First Family Center because
We won't be able to use Sykes, we know that.
Yeah.
I've talked to Lori, and we'll start making those phone calls after
Gosh, it
next
would be-
week and set
You
that
know,
other up.
And I think we've all talked about this in the past, it would be so beneficial if we could get on a set number of sites and get them in the same place. It's
Every
just so
time.
confusing, and you just can't do it, everything
Can't do
just keeps
it.
getting in the way. About the time we get settled on a deal, and people are just, they think, what are y'all doing? You move them? I said, no, we don't, but
It's
circumstances
If
do.
Home Depot doesn't want you in
I
Home
know.
Depot, then you have to go elsewhere.
Yep.
It's really a shame we can't
The
get.
furniture store stepped in, that's worked out.
Yeah, that was good.
And I think it was good for the furniture store.
Yeah, it's a good parking lot, good access.
I think there's a problem in him asking how you voted, depending on which discount you get, but.
Red over here, blue over here.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah,
Good Lord.
okay.
I wouldn't know, I wasn't watching.
It's horrible.
I gave them I feel so much better.
Judge, let me just ask you, tomorrow I'm showing Wednesday, MPO at the Travel Center for Space.
Yeah,
And then, but we also have Odyssey
at 10:30,
at
isn't it?
11 o'clock. We changed it, remember, for your
Oh,
schedule.
okay, all right. Commissioner, can you make that NPO?
Let me look.
It's Wednesday market, 8:30, Travel Center.
I
I'll see if I can
have
change
that
some.
for you.
Okay, see if I can change some things.
Yeah, 'cause we moved my mental health hearings to Wednesday mornings, and there's not much, there's plenty of business there.
Okay.
And I guess we have the possibility of maybe some slicker
My sandbox
weather in
is
the
loaded.
morning?
My sandbox is loaded
Not a
in the
big
shop.
chance, I don't
Not a
think.
big chance, okay.
More, I
It
think
just
less
said,
than-
on the warning deal, it just said that we were in a watch.
Yeah. We might slip by this one. I think it's gonna be more west and north of us, but
That's what I look like.
it can
from the radar.
change in a matter of a few hours.
Yeah, but looking at the radar and watching it track, I think you're right. It's gonna be west and north. But we are getting some good precipitation.
Yeah, it's, right now, what they're showing is, it'll be 31 to 33, depending on the range in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're ready.
All right. It is now 10:15.